Hi, I'm Chris and we are JCD. In this week's episode, we help a customer reroute their drainage system. We're up to our knees in it in a flooded car park and we've got 24 hours to mobilise a new contract. Can we do it? Let's find out and roll the footage. Good morning team, Monday morning. I'll be honest, the weekend was a nice weekend. I had a friend of mine that kindly invited me out for some hospitality at a local football club of ours. So we spent the day there drinking far too much alcohol. It's a funny one with alcohol. I'll go on a bit of a story here. I try it where possible nowadays, especially now I'm a little bit older, in my mid-30s, to limit my alcohol consumption. And the reason for that is today, even today, it's just like, even though I'm not hungover and I feel fine, just you feel very lethargic as you get older. And my general consensus on alcohol and business is the two do not go well together, because generally the week or so after you can still feel so lethargic, everything's a real push to do, and you don't really want to be in that situation with business. But anyway, we crack on, and I'm sure this probably won't be the last time that I'll drink anyway, so you know, just I try and limit it where possible. This morning I headed over to one of our key account contracts. You may have seen our episode on Friday. I said we had a little bit of a back and forth about a relatively small job. So I went and see the customer today, went over there to see her and just managed to put that to bed. It was just a real small miscommunication. And I say, sometimes these things, rather than doing them on email, it's better just to go over and meet face to face, which I've done, and I've managed to put to bed the issue we had, and it was nothing to do with what the guys were actually doing. It was just a timing issue. She was expecting them to stay literally 30 minutes longer than they did. I mean, such a small issue created such a big email train, and the amount of people copied in on this email grew with every email, so it was just quickly easier just to go and put that to bed, which we did. So I went to see her this morning. That was fine. I caught up with site while I was there. Now I am over doing a drainage job at a sports centre local to us. They've had some new toilets fitted and apparently one of them is blocking up. So I'm going to get my boots on now and go inside and see what the problem is. The rest of the day is relatively open. I have got a relatively flexible week this week, so we'll see what that entails. As we know on the channel, all too often you can plan for a week and then something else comes up entirely different and you're manic before you know it. So we won't say too much, we'll see how it goes. But let's get our boots on, head inside and see what we can do for this one. We've been inside and we've done that one, just a soft blockage, just needed a little bit of help to get through, although they did say that that middle one of the middle toilets keeps blocking up, so we'll keep an eye on it, but it's all clear and running now. The rest of the day I have a free day. I have got some you may have seen a couple of episodes ago I had a contract walked around in the city in London which was confidential. I've got to get some paperwork and some numbers back for that, so I'll do that today. I'll send that over to the customer, just some recommendations of how they can make things a little bit more efficient over there. And then the rest of the day, as I say, I'm going to use my unmotivated self from my weekend of alcohol just to catch up on some emails and have a relatively relaxed day. But we're still going to get a few bits and pieces done, and then we will see what the rest of the week entails for us. I know Adam's got some ideas and some videos we put down. Our meeting with Bix that we had last week, that went really well. I'm pleased with how that goes. Hopefully we'll get some panel and some talk work out of that, so you guys see me do some of that stuff, my formal self rather than the informal self that maybe you see me on a day-to-day basis. So that was useful, and we'll see what comes out of that, and hopefully we're going to have a couple of standalone videos for that. I would like to go up to Bix HQ to do some videoing up there. We'll see what pans out with that. And also I've been trying for a long time to get down to Pneumatics HQ. I have been fortunate enough to be there with when I used to be employed a long time ago, and I've seen their factory. All their stuff is UK made. It's made at their head office, and it's a real interesting visit. But some places, to get them to allow us to film can prove difficult. So we're working on some channels in connection with that, and hopefully we'll be able to do a visit down to there soon. Another one we're looking at is visiting the iTeam HQ in the UK. There's been a new one that's been set up in Liverpool with Mark Ray and his company. So I'm having some chats, and hopefully we'll be able to get up there at some point, hopefully before the end of this year, but if not, certainly early next. Next week we've got the drainage show, which we're going to go to, and I have got another podcast, which is good. We're going to release the one that I've done with James Sinclair this week, put that out on our social channels for everyone to have a look at. So that wraps up Monday, guys. An easy Monday, because as I say, my alcohol infused weekend, which we won't be doing too many of. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning for a more full day. Good morning, team. It's Tuesday morning. Well, it's actually Tuesday afternoon now, but I've been down to one of our key accounts that we have just successfully retained in a tender process. I met with Don down there. We had a board meeting planned. That didn't go ahead, but we just had a general catch up. Just about direction of the business, the way things are going, who's doing what. Obviously, we've got at the moment three owners of the business, and just sometimes, being open and honest with the audience, sometimes everyone pulling in the right direction, or the same direction, shall we say, can be difficult. And you just need to make sure that you're all aligned and you're going in the same direction, because otherwise everyone's pulling in different directions and no one gets anywhere. So I went down, just had a chat with Don about that. And then one of our regular clients has called up. They have a new site come up. So in the city, we do a portfolio of restaurants for a customer. I think there's 7 sites that we do in the city. They have got other locations outside of central London. And for whatever reason, that hasn't been placed with our customer. But they've just started to filter some of these sites out. And he's called me today. They've got a site that they want to start Surrey way, which is a little bit out for us, but they want it to start ASAP. Now, there is some Choupy involved, which is a good thing on this occasion. Choupy's a funny one. Sometimes it can be good and go in your favour. Sometimes it's not. Depends on the customer, but this one's more about management, like we always say on the channel. So we've got contract mobilisation effectively that we're going to do tonight. The current cleaner that is there does want to continue, which is good news because it's miles away and we wouldn't be able to start it this quick otherwise. So I'm going to be taking the journey up there today. I've been down to HQ. I've picked up some of the kit already. That's loaded in the van, well, in my car actually. So we're going to go and do that. I've got to go over to one of our schools and help over there first. So I'm going to head over to the school. We're going to do that together, and then we're going to head up and mobilise this contract. It's only a small one, 3 hours Monday to Sunday, but still, hopefully we can get this one right, and then that leads us into, apparently there's another 30 odd sites nationally outside of the city. So that'll be a good one. I mean, clients always dangle these sorts of carrots, but if we can get it started, it's got someone there for Choupy, providing they've got the right training, which I'll speak to them about tonight, we should be good. I'm going to catch up on some emails quickly this afternoon, then we're going to head over to one of our schools, and then we're going to go and start that new contract. Good evening, team. It is now 20 to 8, still Tuesday. We have one of our restaurants mobilising tonight that I spoke to you guys excuse me, about earlier. So I am just meeting the cleaner over here that is going to Choupy over. Just about to take all the stuff inside, get him set up, get him signed on, check all his right to work documentation that we have to do with all staff, just make sure they're able to work in the UK. So that'll be proof of ID, national insurance, proof of address, his bank details, etc. That must be in his own name. So I bought all the kit up here. A bit of a short mobilisation with this one. I'm not quite sure why it is so short, but we will find out and ask the customer. I've just got here this afternoon. I've just done some bits of admin, nothing too onerous or stressful. just bits and pieces that we had to get done, and tomorrow I've got a couple of meetings for our drainage company. So yeah, so I just arrived, just parked up, quite a nice part of town actually, nice area, which makes it even more better that we've got some TUPE involved, because usually when we've got affluent areas like we seem to be in this evening, it can prove difficult to recruit for, but all seems to be going okay. So we'll get the stuff indoors and we'll get inside, get our guys started, and yeah, add this one to the portfolio. Big restaurant. Oh, you can you?
I can bring you to that door.
Right, oh, okay. Perfect. In there. Lovely. Okay, I'll put all the stuff in there. Does that get locked in the evening, or is it okay?
No.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
But I mean, in the evening we.
No, that's fine.
More places locked.
Yeah, as long as we know. Okay, I'll unload the stuff. Box there. I will order you some of these. Okay.
Okay.
What I need you to do is, you got my number.
Yeah.
Write down everything you need. Okay. Give me a list, and I'll get it all delivered here to site. Okay. This will do you for a couple of days. Send me a list tomorrow. Well, we'll speak tomorrow anyway. Send me a list tomorrow of what you want, and then I'll get it all delivered here for you. Okay. Thanks, mate. Right, all that's done now, so it's all sorted and ready to go. All right, thanks for your help. Okay, it's okay if I walk back that way, just because this is the first time I've seen these one. We do some of them in London, so but yeah. Okay, so it's just all the floors, all the ledges, areas like that. All the back of house is done by your team. No, just to the front of house. All right, perfect. Okay then, that's great. Well, thank you for your help. So we've just finished with Martin, who is going to be the cleaner at this particular site. I say we were quite fortunate here. There was no TUPE. I don't really know the backstory to it. It's a bit unusual. There was no TUPE involved, but I was passed the old cleaner's details. They're a weird setup, and there's a slight discrepancy in the hours. He said he used to have more hours. Now it is quite a deceptively large restaurant. Nice, very modern, well kept, so seems like it's doing a good job. He apparently does some others in the local area, so I'll have to go back to the client with that one, because as I say, there's a bit of discrepancy between the hours that he used to have. Usually we'd verify all that information before we start a contract, but as I say, this one, the client literally called me a day or so ago and said, look, I really need digging out of the hole with this one, and we've managed to mobilise it pretty quick, although it is around 80 miles away from where we are. But he seems a good guy, so checked all his right to work documentation, that's all in order. I've checked his pay slips, check he's not telling me porcupines about what hours and pay he had from a previous contractor. So all's in order there. I'm probably not going to get back till 9:30 now, 10 o'clock, but that's the nature of what we do. What we'll do with this, we'll get an order done, a full material order. I've gave him some materials just to get him by a couple of days, but I'll get a full material order here latter part of the week. That'll get delivered and it'll be good to go. He seems to know what he's doing, so fingers crossed with this one. Tomorrow I'm out on the drainage. We've had acceptance of a large repair job, so I have a pre-start meeting with a new customer of ours. That was a recommendation actually from a acquaintance of mine, a plumbing company, which is always nice to get some recommendations. So I'm going to go to that tomorrow, and then we will do a total standalone video for those repairs that go on there, because there's some interesting work. We've got some lining to do, we've got some robotic cutting to do as well. So yeah, it's all go. I've had a couple of the OKs from 2 drainage jobs. We've done them a few weeks ago. They were surveys in Maidstone. I filmed them for a pest control company. One of them needed a repair and some rat walls, so we've had the OK on that. and the other one was tower block, where we needed to install 5 wrap walls, and I've had the okay on that, so I'll get that booked in the back end of next week, because the camera is still with ScanPro being repaired, so we can get a better picture quality. So that wraps up Tuesday, guys. A bit of a long day today. I say long journey back now, and I will see you guys bright and early in the morning. Good morning, gang. Wednesday morning. We are at our first drainage job. We've got a couple of drainage jobs on today. I've been to one, but the guy didn't show up to let me in, so there's not much we can do with that. I am at the second now, and I find myself in a puddle. So we have flooded car park because the drains are not maintained in the rain. But as you can see, after a little bit of searching, I have found where the manhole is. So what I'm going to do, I am now going to have to take my jacket off, and then try and get this manhole up, or the gully up, and then yeah, try and get it clear. So what I'll do, I'm going to put you guys on the car, just going to take my jacket off, and then we'll see if we can get this one clear. Yeah, it's alright. There we go, it's out. Alright, let's see what we can do. So I have just come back over to JCD HQ. I needed to pick up the tanker, and then we're going to head back to the job we were just at in Snodland to see if we can get that car park drain unblocked, because they are forecasting more rain over the next couple of days, so we need to make sure we go and get that done for the customer today. I've got an appointment over with a domestic customer who is doing some refurbishment work, and they want some guidance on moving a drain. That they're doing an extension at the back of their property. So I've just arrived here. I am a little bit early, so the guy's not here. He's just popped to the local DIY store. So I'll wait for him to get here, then we'll have a look around and give him some advice about how we can move his drain around, and then we're going to head back and try and get that car park, well, make it look like a car park and not a swimming pool. So let's wait in the van and wait for this guy to get back, and then we'll have a look and see what we can do on this job. So what we've effectively got is the customer has the toilets are all at the front of the property. They're doing an extension at the back, and I believe they want to put some new toilets in the back. The problem is there's stacks at the front, and there's only one manhole that's in the very far corner over there. So it's going to be a difficult one, to be honest. Lots of digging. He's going to have to come, depends where he wants to put the toilet, but he's going to have to come round the side of the house. So there is no way of doing this easily, really, without disturbing and digging up certain areas and putting it into the manhole that's at the front, or putting another manhole in. So yeah, not an easy job for the customer with this one. So yeah, here's what it is. Sometimes, you know, not every solution is easy, unfortunately, because if they were easy, everyone would be happy days, wouldn't they? So yeah, we'll type an email, give the customer, he wants a cost for it, so we'll do that for him today. So yeah, we're going to jump in the tanker now, which is behind me. There she is, and then we're going to head down to Shrewsbury Centre to get that flowing again. So someone's going to come down and meet us and open the height restriction barrier, and then we can get the tanker in there and see what we can do to get it clear. It's typical this time of year that we've had lots of rainfall in the UK last couple of days, loads of it. There's loads of trees by, the leaves are falling off the trees, and no one maintains these gullies until they're a problem. I mean, now they can't use half their car park. So yeah, proactive is always better than reactive, as we say on the channel, but we'll get it clear now. Oh, it's windy. Get it clear now for them. And then yeah, that will probably wrap up the rest of the day. I've got some emails and bits and pieces to do. So it's been a bit of a stressful week this week. Just a few bits going on back of house. Head's really not in it this week, and that happens sometimes. We roll with the punches, you know, we get up, still do what we got to do, but say some weeks, you know, you're not firing on all cylinders. But it is what it is. We keep rolling with the punches and we keep moving forward. So let's wait for this to open, and then we'll get this one unblocked. Well, as much as it pains it to say me, I'm going to have to admit defeat on that one. The tanker is just not taking enough load out. It's rained again since I've been back here. Needs a bigger tanker, and then the problem is I've got a manhole that is just here, which that gully probably feeds into, but it's got a big crack down the middle, so I don't really want to force that manhole open, because I've only just realised it's got a crack. Force that manhole open, then we haven't got a replacement cover. So we've got two options. We either wait for it to go naturally and then we jet all the lines out, or we get a bigger tanker down here, which will cost the customer some more money. So we'll have to ask that question of the customer. The rest of the day I am in the office. I've got some paperwork to catch up on and some tenders to get back, another tender. This will be a bit of a long one, this one, but it's for quite a prestigious site in the city, which I was at surveying the other day, so I'm going to get on with that. So that's going to wrap up Wednesday, guys. This job took me a little bit longer than I planned, but you know how it works out, they always do. So that wraps up Wednesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Real talk for you guys this morning, team. It is now Friday, sorry, I missed Thursday, and I'll be honest with you, this week's quality of video hasn't been fantastic. Why do we do these videos, or why do I specifically do these videos? I want to document the journey of a business owner. So I am an average guy. I went to school. I think I had the intellectual property to do relatively well at school, but I didn't for whatever reason. I come out of school, you know, and I done the expected thing of a guy my age. You know, went out drinking with my friends every weekend to oblivion, like most young people do. And I'll be honest with you, in my early days, I had no real ambition beyond the weekends. You know, I think as I progressed in my career, I then realised that I wanted more out of life. But I was just happy doing what young 18, 20-year-olds do. You know, and just played that game. Now I'm further down the line, and we are sort of where we are now. I realised when I started my career in cleaning that I had the potential, or through people supporting me, the right people supporting me, that I had the potential to take it further. And now, we're a 7-figure business. We employ hundreds of people a week, but I am just a normal guy wanting to document the journey that goes on. So whilst I'm taking you guys around and filming what goes on and trying to give you a perspective of a glass window into the two industries I'm in, predominantly the cleaning industry, but obviously the drainage side as well, seeing how, going from someone with no experience in an industry that I haven't really had much experience in, to how, if you do put your mind to it, you can do well. But I am a normal guy, and there are weeks like this week where the magic just isn't there. It's, as a business owner, especially as a growing business with ever more struggles, and that struggles with business and personal, that stuff that goes on behind the scenes, that off camera, that are not relevant or not suitable to put on camera because they're stuff exterior to the businesses. So I have things and so do all business owners, have things going on back of house that they're not going to put on camera. We need to remember social media, and I'm trying to document the ups and downs on this channel. So I will put stuff like this on here, but social media in general is a snapshot and usually a positive one. So you don't see many people put there, I've had a shit day today, I've lost this contract, or this happened and this staff member left me, or this client didn't pay me. Very, very rarely do you see them. It's always the wins. So I'm here to tell you this week was a loss. The early part of the week, I'd been out the weekend before, which always has a negative effect on me, to be honest, alcohol. The week after, although I'm not hungover or anything like that, it's just not the same. It's very hard and weird to put into words, but it's just not there. The effort's not there. The focus is not there. It's just, everything's a push generally the week after a heavy alcohol session, drinking. And don't get me wrong, it's fun and you've got to do it and let off some steam, and I do like to do that every now and then. But for work the week after, it's most definitely not productive. I also had another issue, personal issue that come up early part of the week that was playing on my mind for the majority early part of the week, to be honest. We had our board meeting as well, so that always brings on its own stress, just making sure everyone's going in the right direction, and we're all on the same page, which, I'll be honest, again, this is what this journey is about, is not always the case. I've made a separate video before about making sure your business partners, you choose them, because as people grow older, the business gets bigger and changes and evolves. People's opinions on things are naturally going to be different, whether that's your friend, an investor, a family member, like in my case. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, and we just need to remember that. So it's been a busy week, and to be honest with you, it compounded in Thursday. I took the day off. We'll call it a mental health day. That's what we'll call it for this occasion. I didn't want to do what I needed to do, and that is the real separation between people that win at life and people that don't. Thursday was a loss. That's why it's not on camera. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to take the phone calls, although I did. And there was nothing to film. So we're taking that as an L. I look at it as we've got a 7-day period over the course of a week. Stuff comes and goes. You're not going to win every day, but as long as you are turning up most days, you're getting out of bed, you're doing what needs to be done, the monotonous business tasks and other tasks like going to the gym, it's all the same. As long as you're getting out of bed and doing those tasks, you're moving forward. And when you have days like I did Thursday, where you go, look, I can't do this today. I just haven't got it in me to do it today. All the calls, or the reactive stuff. That's the loss. You're going to take an L. You don't see Premiership football teams or boxers or whatever it may be. They lose at some point. There's going to be a point where the day doesn't go their way. So I see my business week of, look, if I get out of bed 5 days a week and I do what I do, I go to the gym, I get my business tasks done that I need to do, I answer all my emails, I take all my calls, that's a win. And we take those wins on a day-by-day basis. But as I say, Thursday and today, to be honest, filming this Friday, is a loss, and those are reality of business. And the idea of doing this weekly episode, although some people advise me not to, people don't watch longer format content or whatever it may be, I want to document our journey as we grow, because we are going to grow. Certainly the whole time I'm breathing, we're going to grow. And I want to take you guys along to show you that I'm a nobody. And I have a relatively comfortable life. My business is growing. We're starting to build a bit of a brand for ourselves, which is fantastic. We've been to some fantastic places. We're working with some fantastic clients, and you guys can do that too. But I think hopefully this week, and it probably generally is me and Adam would sit down, and this week in terms of the footage that's been filmed, it's probably not really an episode that, if we looked at it out of the entire weekly collection, that we would put out as a standalone video. But this episode will go out to prove that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but as long as you get up and do what you've got to do. Yeah, sure, it's okay for the odd day, you can take a breather, but Monday we'll be back in the office, back in full swing. We've got some fantastic bits and pieces going on next week to make up for what we didn't film this week. And just remember, it's okay to have days where you're not okay, but it is not okay to quit on the wider sense of the word. So as long as we don't quit, this is my lock screen. As long as you don't quit, you can't lose, because people will quit along the way. They'll give up, and that narrows the field down to make sure that we win. So we all have off weeks. We just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other and make sure we're doing what we know we need to be doing. When you're having days off, and you're multiple days off, and you're not doing the stuff that you know needs to be doing, you're letting your inbox fill in, you're not answering your calls, you're not calling your customers back, you're not dealing with staffing issues, then you're on a slippery slope. Just remember, get that to-do list, small amount of tasks, tick it off, and make sure you win the day. Some days you'll lose, but the majority you'll win, and then they will collectively add up to a big win further down the line. So I'm sorry this week hasn't been that fantastic, but I promise we'll be back on the course next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.